has a strong manufacturing base. We have a module manufacturing currently of 1 gigawatt, and we are currently expanding that to 2 gigawatt. That's one manufacturing. We also have a module mounting structure manufacturing. We also manufacture string combiner boxes, ACDB, DCDB, most of those components that go into the solar panel. Right, so this, and we are also in the process of getting into BESS manufacturing, right, because that is the future. So I think the company has a very strong manufacturing base, and there are 3 businesses that are built on this manufacturing base. One is our IPP business, where we set up assets and sell power to CNI customers primarily today. We have some government PPAs also. That is one part of the business, right? So that business is I think today we have about 150 megawatt. I think we expect to be about 200, 250 in the next 3 to 6 months, and we have a target of having a 1 gigawatt of assets by end of 2 years, right? And we do have the financial capacity to grow the business and build that asset base. We don't need to go and raise equity for that. And then we have the EPC business, where we build the assets and give it for the customers, right? So they provide the land and connectivity, or sometimes we get the land and connectivity, and we build the assets for the customers for their own capital use or for government agencies, right? That's the second part of the business. And then the third part of the business is a channel, where we sell distributed systems, like the rooftop systems, the modules alone, or the module mounting structures. Like this is the third business, and in fact today it's the product launch. We will talk a lot about that third business, because along with this logo, we are also launching a new brand called NUMERGY, which is targeting primarily this rooftop business. So one of the nice unique things about SWELECT is, see, we are vertically integrated, right? Our manufacturing base with the 3 businesses, and the entire product is made in SWELECT. It's like made in India, made in SWELECT. Maybe only one piece which is missing is the inverter. Other than that, almost everything is made in, and it is a very unique proposition that we bring to the table. We don't have to refer to warranty of XYZ. We provide the end-to-end warranty of the products we manufacture and we supply in an EPC, right? So I think this is something we are quite proud of, and I think we hope in the BESS, the battery energy storage market also, we will try to grow in the same way, right? But for all of you, you know, battery energy storage. See, one of the energy transitions that's happening today is we are going from a pure solar, pure wind to round the clock renewable, right? Because most people's expectation is round the clock renewable, because we expect that the grid today, most of the discoms cannot take the energy in the solar and supply it in the night times. It's impossible for them to do, right? It's very important that we need to integrate batteries into our solutions, and we need to provide solution for power round the clock, right? And this is where the battery energy storage is increasingly become a critical piece of the renewable industry. So we are going to integrate the solar with the renewable, and one of the motivations for our logo change is we are moving just purely from solar to energy, right, to around the clock energy, which integrates battery also. I think that's kind of the drive towards this, and we are at the very early stage of this BESS market. And as you all know, in fact today one of the things I also realized is today also if I say NUMERIC house, I don't need to tell the taxi drivers, they'll just take me, right? If I tell SWELECT house, they don't know what that is, but NUMERIC house they know, right? So because the NUMERIC was a very dominant player in this space with the market share, 20% market share in the UPS systems, and ironically the battery energy storage systems are not very different from the UPS systems in terms of the battery that, of course it's a longer life and continual use, but it's a very similar product that NUMERIC mastered and delivered to customers, right? So I think we hope that we have that DNA to deliver these products in the market. Plus in the solar, we have been in the solar industry for almost a decade. We have built modules. We made a manufactured modules. We have a good reputation of high quality modules. In fact, when I was in Tata, when I was out of capacity and I need to buy, I would always go for HHV modules because I know the quality was good. And I've placed many orders with HHV even at that time, right? So I think we have a good record of quality and performance on the modules, and we hope that we can, so combining that solar knowledge, that decade of experience with the numeric UPS background, we feel we are uniquely positioned in the BESS market, and we wanted to be early leader in this market to get in the market and grow the market. Right? So this is the context of this product launch of NUMERGY. We plan to launch 3 products in the NUMERGY brand. Right? One is called a NUMERGY Home. This is primarily targeting the PM Surya Ghar Yojana projects, which is a 3 kilowatt, 5 kilowatt, and the market is huge. Right? There's still a significant amount of capacity yet to be done to meet the targets the Prime Minister has set. And I think this is one market we are targeting with a NUMERGY Home. Then we have a product called NUMERGY Hybrid. Here, this is for a product where the NUMERGY Home solution is integrated with the battery. So where you have less grid or low grid, then people can stay off grid, right? And then take the NUMERGY Home product, NUMERGY Hybrid product. And then we have a NUMERGY High Performance. This is for commercial and industrial establishments where the tariffs are very high, right? Or also in some cases like in hospitals where they are compelled to use a DG, right? With the NUMERGY BESS system and renewable, you can avoid the noise, you can avoid the cost of the DG, and then be off the grid as much as possible. You can be significantly off the grid, right? So I think these are the 3 products we are launching: NUMERGY Home, NUMERGY Hybrid, and NUMERGY High Performance, targeting the entire segment of the small residential units to CNI customers. Right? I think this is the product range we are doing, and you can see the product, and I think our team can explain also about these products. We had a small light pre-launch in the REA, but this is a formal launch today. Okay, that's the second thing. And in terms of the logo, I think I just want to make sure. So see, so what is the reason for the logo change, right? So there are a couple of reasons. One is we are going through an energy transition, right? From a pure solar, right? I think if you look at the solar's, what we currently say sun shines, from the space sun shines and thereafter, to powering the world responsibly, because we are moving from a pure solar to a solar plus battery energy mix, I think. And of course, we wanted to bring the blue sky and the green energy and make it a sustainable SWELECT. I think that's the motto of the logo change, just to enhance the image of the company and also to reflect the current energy transition that's driving the market. I think that is all I have to say. I thank you all for coming, and I hope to interact with you.
Not where it's going to be completely pre-assembled battery solution. So with the cooling can be liquid, cooling can be air, or cooling can be just natural ventilation. It depends on the size and the charging level. We call it 0.5 C or different Cs for charging and discharging. That is one part. Then comes the PCS, the power conversion system. That is by and large, it's going to be a bi-directional PCS. And so then the transformer is another piece of component. So the battery system containerized or rack assembled the solution, PCS. Then of course all the protection, switchgear, etc. And then the bus backs, transformers, and the connectivity to the grid. So this is going to be the configuration to start with. So it's going to be integration. First approach is with integration. So as the market grows faster, volumes pick up, there is enough justification that we can also look at cell level to modules, battery modules to solutions. So that's the roadmap.
And for the pre-assembly, where are you importing the cells from?
Right now we are sourcing from leading brands called Goshen and Pylon Tech. So they're all big brands in the globe, and so that's what we are pitching at this moment.
Are you also participating in RTC projects?
Yeah, definitely, very much. We have already created 2 pilots. One is a pure solar BESS pilot. The other one is solar, wind and BESS pilot. They are completely tested and working fine. So now we are offering the solution to various customers. Many customers have come and seen the working sites already for their satisfaction and to ensure that we are capable player in this space. Unfortunately, as our CEO Dr. Arul explained, as NUMERIC, the present team has a rich experience in handling the different types of batteries, the batteries charging and discharging characteristics and the protection requirements. So definitely we understand all kinds of batteries pretty much. And then the power conversion systems are nothing but UPS systems in a modified topology. That's it. So the power conversion, especially handling power devices, power modules, that's all easy for us because of the rich experience we currently possess nearly for 4 decades. So that way we are one of the best player in handling the batteries, the power conversion systems and the overall handling of large capacity megawatts. So that is the experience we hold. Pilots have been done. Now we are participating in different tenders. So around 10 megawatt hour BESS will be operational by end of the year. That is March, before 31st March, our own BESS, which is 10 megawatt hour facility will be up and running. That will be more solar backed. It's not grid imported. It's all completely solar power as the input and then the remaining follows the standard BESS system. So this is how we have positioned ourselves right now.
Just a couple of questions. What kind of battery types you're betting on? I mean, are you using what types of batteries?
No, right now we focus only on lithium-ion batteries, LFP.
See, I think the important thing to emphasize is, look, battery is not a simple thing, right? And with the BESS systems, the expectation is they'll be lasting for 15-20 years. And it's not trivial to maintain that battery for a life of 20 years. And that's where the NUMERIC experience and background, the demonstrated proof of providing 99.9999% uptime and reliability with battery systems for multiple decades, right? I think that is why we believe we are significantly differentiated from others. And it's not the price, it's the lifelong support and the lifetime assurance that we are in a better position to provide to our customers vis-a-vis others in the market.
What's the typical charging cycle of these batteries? How many cycles do they give you for the life period?
See, I think that depends. It depends on whether it's 0.5C, 1C, but typically I think 12 to 20 years is what people are committing, right? That makes 7,000, 8,000 cycles. In reality, we have a different view on what is possible knowing the battery well, right? So our programs and commitments are based on what we believe is a realistic measure.
Yeah, the common ask is in the different tenders or customers' expectations. Assuming we as a customer, for example, we want a 10 megawatt hour battery solution. The power source has to be 5 megawatt. It is one charging cycle per day, charging and discharge. Cycle means you know that, one cycle of charging and the other half is discharging. So that means with a 5 megawatt source, we can comfortably charge 10 megawatt hour. This is a grid connected base without a solar backup, for example. So when we talk about it, so the charge cycle predominantly it is more common that 0.5C is the charging duration, charging rate. When I say 0.5C, if it is a 1000 amp hour battery, we charge at 500 ampere. So that's the charging behavior. Same is the discharging behavior as well. So in terms of number of cycles, if you ask, per day, one full cycle. Or one charge cycle, two half discharge cycles, because some tenders, they ask for 2 times 2 hours discharge. In some tenders, they are asking for 1 time 4 hours discharge. So that is the case. So if you do it for all the years, 365 cycles in a year, then the life is normally it is 15 years, but it can go beyond that also depending on the type of cell and the type of cooling and the efficient maintenance aspects. Fact, number one. Number two, they are unique in terms of the type of power devices we are using. There are so many companies using so many devices which are more common in the field. For example, MOSFETs and IGBTs. They are all basically silicon, devices, bipolar or kind of. But we are talking about silicon carbide based power converters.
And what is the investment and what is the
this is the technology side. I come to the technology, how we ramp up, then we come to the investment part. So half I will explain, half our Dr. Arul will explain. So the ramp up is, for example, we are working on the roadmap based on the market demands. So first quarter, for example, if it's going to be 500 systems, then we are scaling up to 1,000 systems, and then that is the ramp up scale, because that is what is doable. First of all, we don't want to just put several thousands in the market and then confuse the market. We don't want to do that. So we will go with a steady growth plan, and it's going to be like that. That's number one. So since we have different models, so it depends on which model, how many numbers in a month. Those things will have to be, based on the market demand. So that's where we are. So then, Dr. Arul, I think you can take it up on.
See, I think these products, if you take the PM Surya Ghar, right, the requirements are huge.
Yeah.
Right, even AP requires 10 lakh units or something, right? So the amount of requirement is significant, and I think what is required, what are the key elements of it, right? One of the key elements of that is a DCR module. So we obviously have our own module manufacturing. We are currently expanding that from a 1 gigawatt to 2 gigawatt. So currently we were constrained because our IPP and EPC projects themselves consume most of the modules we produce, right? We didn't have much of a thing. So that investment has been done. We expect that module line to be operational in April, right? An additional 1 gigawatt. The second element is the cells. Certainly, I think we already have a tie-up for the cells to give us about 500 megawatt of domestic cells this year and a gigawatt each from next year, right? So we have assured supply of cells to be able to serve this market, right? That's the main component of it. The rest of it, our module manufacturing capacity or structure manufacturing capacity has been enhanced from 350 to almost 700 or 800 megawatt that last month. So we can make the structures for it, right? Of course, the key to all this is more than the product. Product is one, product availability is one, but the second is the channel to distribute the product. I think this is where I think we are building these channels, and the bulk of that investment, is going to be in building the distribution channels, and initially, retail sales does investments to do B2C sales are high. So there are investments, it will be in primarily building the channels. And if you look at the market today, if you look at the PM Surya Ghar, it's one of the very few programs, southern states are nowhere in the picture, right? The top one is Uttar Pradesh. The next one is Gujarat, is the only common one in a typical top states list, right? And then you have Bihar, Odisha, Rajasthan, so it's like a different set. So currently we are focused on building a channel in those states to serve the market, because the demand is there. There's a huge demand for it. I don't think it's an insatiable demand. I don't think the key is to build the channel to deliver the product, to be able to make the product, especially the DCR modules, and have the channel to deliver the product. I think these are the two key elements of investment we need, right?
I just want to know how much amount of investment has gone for making these products, and how much number of such products you are coming out in the next 5 years, and how much revenue you are expecting from this. It's just purely on the business.
Okay, I think I think I have to ask my my company secretary team is sitting there, so I was told not to give any
Okay.
projections because I think.
But you can say
so. But
that-
I can say, okay, I can say the way I look at it is, see, okay, I can talk about this. I think they can correct me if I'm saying something wrong. And this Guru, you can just stand up if I'm saying something I'm not supposed to say. So I think, we are going to have about like whatever actual production of about 1.2, 1.3, 1300 megawatt of modules, right? The way we visualize is that we have 1/3 of it going to our IPP business because we want to scale to 1 gigawatt in 2 years, and 1/3 going to our EPC business for our EPC customers, and I'm expecting the 1/3 of it. In fact, I want to build the channel to be able to absorb 1/3 of that volume in the channel business, right? That is a few 200 to 400 megawatt is our aspiration, right? Whether we achieve that in 1 year or 2 years remains to be seen, but we are determined to achieve it, right? And we will achieve it, and that's our expectation.
The TCS part of it, all the NUMERGYs and those power electronic converters of different kinds. So that will be the immediate investment to follow once this expansion is completed. And also, as Dr. Arul was explaining, a certain amount of megawatts is meant for supporting these products. So in terms of megawatt, if you look at easily about 600, 700 megawatt will be the volume of the home segment or the distribution market is for.
Have you identified our channel partners? Or
We
yet to
are
identify?
already having nationwide the channel partners. Yeah. Yes,
So we have to obviously UPS NUMERIC at 20% market share. So obviously they had a huge channel base. Of course, lately we have not had much of a B2C product, right? So now our intent is to recreate that same channel that NUMERIC had in the UPS segment at first nationally, right? But NUMERIC had a very strong presence in Africa, Sri Lanka, or the other countries too. But our current focus, immediate focus, is to develop that channel in India, to recreate that channel. Yes, we do have channel partners today, but it's not enough for the kind of volume we are talking about. And especially we don't have a particularly strong presence in the north, right, which is where the market is. So our focus is to build that presence in UP, Bihar, Odisha, Haryana, Rajasthan.
What's the export plan?
Export, we are not currently contemplating that today, right? So we are not looking at that. There are a lot of queries for the US market, but given the tariff situation, it is not wise to make an investment basis the US market because it's very volatile and fluctuating.
சார் சார் இப்போ லித்தியம் ஸ்கார்சிட்டி நமக்கு த்ரெட்டாக வர வாய்ப்பு இருக்கா? ஏன்னா சைனா லாஸ்ட் வீக் ஒரு 25 சுரங்கங்களை மூடி இருக்காங்க. அது நமக்கு இந்த இண்டஸ்ட்ரி பாதிக்குமா? இது ஒன்று. ரெண்டாவது டேட்டா சென்டர்ஸோடைய வாட்டர் யூசேஜ் அதிகமாக இருக்குது கூலிங் சிஸ்டமுக்கு. அது பிரச்சனையாக இருக்குன்னு சொல்கிறாங்களே. இது ரெண்டுக்கும் இண்டஸ்ட்ரியில் நீங்கள் என்ன சொல்லுங்கள்?
I think from the lithium standpoint, China has enough deposition of lithium. See, they may go slow in mining, but actually China is slowing down more on the vapor production, cell production and module production, which is not going to influence anything at all to us, basically, number one. And coming to the main point of lithium, China has enough lithium, and South American companies also have enough of lithium deposition. As per the survey made by experts, lithium is not going to be a shortage, but there are other options available to the industry. One is the flow cell approach, where vanadium oxide is going to be the electrolyte, and titanium plates are going to be the positive negative connecting current in and current out electrodes. So the titanium electrodes and vanadium oxide, that technology called as flow cell technology is very much progressing. Nickel metal hydride technology is another technology progressing quite well. Now people are talking about sodium ion, and also iron and air. Even the rust in the iron also acts as an electrode, and different technologies are evolving, but that is too premature, what I talked lastly. But sodium ion is almost ready to hit the market. Vanadium oxide is ready to hit the market. Nickel metal hydride is already there. So I don't think it will become a huge challenge in terms of, maybe the price points may vary depending on the technology, but availability of storage mediums are not going to be a big challenge. There will be some challenges, but not so big.
Data centers உடைய
Data center water consumption side, we are certainly, we are not so much. If you ask data centers clean power requirement and uptime requirements, I can, discuss at length. But in terms of water, I think there will be ways of, supplying enough water. I don't right now. I don't have information on that.
Yeah, actually, I think green hydrogen consumes a lot of water, but I have not heard about data
Yeah,
centers.
hydrogen also we can recycle the water. Even the water used in green hydrogen production, still we can recycle.
Sir, just one thing. Sir,
Yeah.
just one thing. From where are you importing cells?
Right
Other
now,
than China?
right now from China. Yes.
Right now from China. So you have
When it
enough-
comes to nickel metal hydride, we are talking to a company in Sweden. We
Okay.
visited them also a couple of years back. So that is a fallback. But they are making nickel metal hydride.
So how much you are importing from China now? It's any numbers that
It's only right now whatever we are importing is all from China only.
How much? Any numbers that you can give?
See, we can say in terms of the capacity.
Yeah.
Currently, we have a funnel of something close to 50 megawatt hour.
Okay. Thank you.
Where do you see the potential for hybrid products? You have three segments highlighted. Hybrids, where do you see that?
See, I think today TOD is not in place, right? The time of the tariffs are not in place for most segments, at least the residential segment, right? But I think, of course, in the industrial segment, you still have a 9.5 rupee tariff in peak hours, which is only going to go higher and higher, right? So I think that's where the more TOD tariffs are implemented across the board, that's one clear opportunity for hybrid, and the discoms have to do it. It is not an option for the financial viability of any electricity provider. You cannot buy power at a higher price and sell at a lower price, right? So in those circumstances, the hybrid makes sense because you take the power, you store it in the inverter, and then you use it in the night. And then the arbitrage between your discom tariff vis-a-vis your cost of power, right? That is one area, right? The second area is there are power is still not 24/7, right? So if you don't have a 24/7 power, so even if you put a solar, right? A lot of times when you do a grid type solar, you can have your solar panel, inverter, but if a grid is not there, you cannot use the solar power, it goes waste, right? So where in areas where there is a high level of grid downtime, just implementing a pure solar solution is not necessarily it may cover PM's targets, right, numbers, but it will not address the real issue the customer is facing of getting power during the time from solar, right? So these are the various areas where we see the hybrid. In fact, the high performance product we are targeting primarily for CNI, like the showrooms where the tariff is very high, especially in the peak times. So the arbitrage absolutely makes sense for them to take a hybrid system with a battery and use that power during the peak periods.
What are your thoughts on states, southern states lagging behind in rooftops, PM schemes? Is it due to the metering issues, or what do you think are the key factors?
See, it's very interesting because, honestly, a lot of times we also industry, right? We also don't look into the economics, right? Recently, since one of my friends did it and I've taken this role, it's because I was mostly handling utility scale projects for the last 5 years. Right? Once then one of my friends said, I said, okay, let's get into it. Then I did a 50 kilowatt system for his apartment, okay, for the common utilities of his apartment. Right? When I did this 50 kilowatt system, I've used the DCR panels and they get a certain subsidy. So he pays me, I think, let's say he was paying me 50,000 something, 55,000 whatever, piece per kilowatt. It was a 50 kilowatt system. So we were able to get him an 80% loan, right? He had to give me a 20% advance. And the EMI for the loan was less than his electricity bill, monthly electricity bill of today, right? Of course, in 5 years that bill will be higher also. So with the electricity bill, which is less than the, he can pay his EMI, less than his electricity bill. He'll save some on the electricity bill also. Plus he got a subsidy from PM, the 20% advance he gave me, he got 30% from the government. So you got 10% cash, an electricity bill less than what you're paying for 5 years. And then after 5 years, your electricity is free. No EMI to pay, no electricity bill to pay, right? Now, in fact, I tell my marketing team also why you guys are not able to sell this, right? I think Uday is sitting right in front of you. Why you're not able to articulate this? It's like a no-brainer. You get 10% cash, you pay less money than your electricity bill for 5 years, and after that you have zero electricity bill. It's just the maintenance cost, right? So maybe as industry, we have also not done a good job of marketing, maybe, or positioning in the market. I think that's one. I think that's the perception, the people is not having that perception, that this understanding of this, right? I think this is something I think all of you in the press should also help promote this. They say, look, it's like a no-brainer. If it was an investment decision, right? You don't even have to put, that initial 20% is the only gap, right? That too you'll get it. The subsidies are disbursed very promptly by the central government. It's not at all delayed, right? So you get 10% cash of whatever you're putting, then you have a EMI which is less than your current electricity bill. So your savings are going to accumulate over the next 5 years. And after 5 years, only the maintenance of the solar plant, which is hardly anything, will be 10% or even 2% of your electricity bill, right? So I think, so that education is something we have to do better, I think, as ourselves as SWELECT, as I think the media who are believe in green energy and you want to see the propagation of green energy, right? I think that education campaign and that awareness, I think, will help the propagation better in the southern states.
Actually, Kerala went on quite a bit of residential rooftops, but when the Prime Minister's program was announced, the way UP took it or the way Gujarat took it, the southern state governments, they should have taken up little bit on their side as well to promote green energy. And because of the experience, the earlier experience, where the net metering was announced but not practiced, people have to wait for the net metering connection, etc. They will say meter is not installed or something is, that kind of a little bit of a jolt in the beginning. Now I think the awareness is picking up, and as Dr. Ru said, we have to improve our impact of the market reach. Also, many banks now are joining the combined road shows. Even the other day, Tangerco went to the housing colonies, the gated communities, and started jointly propagating to join for the rooftop program. So if they make it on a regular basis, southern states also will pick up. Maybe it's just behind the time. So we will be definitely getting that opportunity to sell more in the home segment.
I think the other case is UP, the power itself is a problem. So
Yes,
this is also a
exactly.
fundamental
That's what I was about
problem.
to say.
Whereas here that problem
Power
is
style, actually.
that problem is not there.
That is
Maybe
true.
that the
Yeah.
pull is not there because of that reason.
So government themselves have taken it forward and they aggressively promote that because for them it is compulsory.
Andhra has done well. Andhra has announced this SC/ST program where they announced like 50, they announced 200, few hundred megawatts now, 600 megawatts, right? Of course, the way it's structured, I know how much of it will come up, but maybe that 20-30% will come up, right? So, and in some states like Odisha, the state is giving an additional subsidy, right? And of course, then it's like even otherwise, the economics is awesome. And then with the state subsidy, though, it's like everybody has to do it. If you don't do it, then I don't know what to do.
Do you have any plan to have conduct road shows for rooftop
Yeah, definitely yes.
Definitely, see, we wanted to have a targeted marketing campaigns, right? And I think, in fact, we were waiting for the logo launch. We didn't want to go and redo all the boards. We were ready to do it last week also. We will be obviously focused on the northern states, but more like autos, billboards. I think we do see it in the airport today. You can see the SWELECT one in the airport, but not in the roads. And you will see more SWELECT promotions promoting the rooftop scheme.
I'm asking about in southern states.
Southern states, they are doing, I think Tangentco is organizing across different cities. I think in Coimbatore they had it,
Yes.
in Chennai they had it, right? They're organizing this across different cities. They're also feeling that, see, it's one of those few things, southern states don't come in the top 10. Right? It's not, hardly anything where in India the southern states is not in the top 10. If they're not in the top 5, it's unusual. At least 2 of them will be in the top 5. Right? This is the only scheme where they're not that.
Interestingly, southern states are leading in renewable energy installed capacity.
Yeah, definitely, especially wind.
most of the states.
Yeah, wind and solar definitely we are
I think
ahead.
Gujarat and Maharashtra picked up, right? So Tamil Nadu slipped from 3rd to 4th already. From Maharashtra has taken over Tamil Nadu, right? But Gujarat and Maharashtra, I suppose Karnataka, because the wind potential is very good, right? In Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, Andhra. So I think that is helping. And in Karnataka and Andhra, I think it was driven by the state projects. In Tamil Nadu, it's mostly driven by the CNI projects.